You are welcome to yet another episode of LFN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. Millions of people around the world have been waiting to hear what's going on with R. Kelly's appeal, with the hope to break the silence with a bit of good news, considering all we have heard of in the past were violations of R. Kelly's rights and freedoms. The new update with regard to the appeal process is that it's been decided there will be an oral argument by the government and the defense to better explain their concerns with what transpired in the trial court to further guide the decision of the appeal court judges. Appeals are often decided on basis of written briefs, but when there happens to be an oral argument, it can get really interesting. When we say Jennifer Bonjean is the champion of appeals, it stems from her history of bringing the government to account for all the legal mistakes they make while trying to convict defendants, forgetting that none is above the law. The Bill Cosby appeal, for example, was also one with oral arguments. There is certainly something special oral arguments bring to an appeal process. The litigants get the opportunity to explain further the concerns they may have outlined in their submitted written briefs to make sure the appeal judges do understand them perfectly well. But again, it's important to listen to the questions from the appeal judges and explain one's submission while addressing these questions in order to make a satisfactory argument. The appeal court is a place where presumptions and assumptions simply do not work. During the R. Kelly trial phase, the government has been coming to court with their own premeditated stories to tell the jurors and the judge, and they have achieved this with the help of multiple accusing witnesses. Well, this time round this will not work, considering it will be only one representative for each party, and for the first time, the government is going to be put to task to explain these multiple stories from fake accusers in their absence. It will therefore not be a surprise to see the government litigant sweating on the stand when asked some deeply rooted question, in relation to their witness testimonies, which are clearly written out in the trial transcript. While we were confident that attorney Jennifer Bonjean would ask for an oral argument, we were not sure the government would want the same, considering they have way too many things to hide. They risk being caught off guard having to explain numerous legal mistakes that the government attorney may not have explanations for. It's no wonder they only reluctantly agreed to the oral argument as opposed to Bonjean, who was all in. On their request statement, the government suggested they would only engage in an oral argument if the other party does request it. Otherwise, it looks like they were more than ready to chicken out. One may wonder why this oral argument appears to be a very sensitive matter in an appeal process. Well, it's more like a do or die situation when the attorneys get this one-time opportunity to align their arguments with the expectations of the appellate judges. The mistake many litigants make when they appear in a face-to-face with appeal judges is thinking that they should be explaining so much of what they have already submitted in their written briefs. But the best thing to do during the appeal process is to listen to the questions raised by the judges, as it's these that they base on to determine whether your written argument passes or fails. It will therefore be important that the litigants do more listening to understand the judges' questions, and do their best to answer them to the best of their ability before they can return to their written submissions. This, however, we are confident the government will not be able to do, considering they are so fixated with their witness stories which just do not support their argument of guilt for the R&B King. When it comes to responding to these tough questions, the government is bound to fail miserably, and R. Kelly's attorney will have an upper hand, especially because her arguments will all be based on truth and nothing else. Defending the government witness lies together with the malicious judgment and acts of prejudice will see the government fail miserably at this appeal. There is just no doubt about this. When it comes to the argument of prejudice, there is one particular event in R. Kelly's trial that the appeal court has ruled against before as prejudicial, yet the very same mistake was repeated, and that is the admission of multiple bad act accusers who were not relevant to the case and only brought to the courtroom to make R. Kelly sound like a very bad person, in the end misleading the jury into prejudicing him. This is just not acceptable by law, and if the appeal court missed it, it would in a way be a disgrace to the department for lack of consistency in their judgments. Meanwhile, defense attorney Jennifer Bonjean has asked for date options 12th, 14th and 19th of September, November 21st to 24th, or December 22nd, and January 2nd of next year as alternative dates suitable for this appeal oral argument. Meaning the earliest date, We can have this as the 12th of September 2023. But we will keep waiting to see when exactly and update you once the date has been confirmed. According to James, it's no doubt R. Kelly will have a successful appeal. All possible appeal dynamics are working in his favor because it wasn't him that broke the law multiple times during the trial process. In fact, the government will have a hard time defending all the lies that the government witnesses told on the stand, and when it comes to the question of whether they proved an illegal enterprise to justify their falsely imposed RICO charges, they are bound to concede, and that will be 1-0 in favor of the defense. Jennifer Bonjean is a very experienced attorney when it comes to finding fault in the government's way of doing things, and she has already done a great job in her written brief. Indeed, all she will have to do is listen to the judges and answer their questions to the best of her ability, then the rest will be history. According to Joey, R. Kelly deserves to win this appeal and get either a retrial or an immediate acquittal. He has suffered enough on the hands of the people he thought loved him, and the most disturbing fact is that these people have falsely accused him. We are once again putting our trust in the justice system that this time the safety net will catch the real criminals in this case. There is no doubt that R. Kelly is a victim of prejudice and has had to deal with an unfair conviction arising from concocted charges that are inapplicable to his case, and that can surely be overturned if the system is fair. Let's only pray to God and wait to see if the appeal judges will do the right thing. If you wish to take part in a live interview discussing any of these topics, let us know by sending an email to sashalfnmedia@gmail.com for scheduling. Thank you for watching today's video, a production of LFN Media, giving you another perspective of issues at hand. We make it our business to keep you updated with the truth amidst the cloud of lies the media wants you to believe. It is therefore important to subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon and allow all notifications so that you don't miss out whenever we publish a new video.